Hi third graders, I'm here at Coyote Trail Farm Fiber Mill, and this is Kate, the owner, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about this fiber mill, and then we're going to get to have a look around.
We opened this fiber mill 4 years ago, and so this is a brand new building and a brand new business, and I think it's going to be brand new for quite a while. So, and anytime you start a business, you're going to hit into struggles or aspects that don't work and things that you're going to change. Anyway, what we're looking at here in this area, if you want to look over here, is fiber that's coming through the door. So we get fiber that comes in plastic bags and we weigh it. This is all llama fiber, and these are called thirds. So we're going to make this into rug rope. If you pan over this way, you can see we have fiber that comes through the door in boxes, which is nice. And this is a box full of raw muskoxen fiber, and we make that into Kiviot. So that's a 6-pound box. I don't know if you want to know, this box came from Unalakleet, Alaska, and for a 6-pound box, this mill gets money. So I actually, to process that fiber, I get $135 a pound, which is nice, but that's not all we do. Sometimes we get in bags like this, and this would be a bag of Shetland or something. So Shetland's a pretty common fiber. A lot of people have these sheep. So this fiber I get $20 a pound for. So I do all of it. I'm the veterinarian of fiber. Some animals I get money for, some animals I get less. Guess which one we get more of? The Shetland. So anyway, this is where all the fiber comes in if you do a spin. Come on around. We got this is a bag here of llama.
Oh
This is raw llama fiber. It's dirty, it hasn't been washed. If you go like this, you'll see the dust and stuff. Llama and alpaca, and I heard that you have been working on alpaca.
Yeah.
They're the dirtiest animals on the planet.
Oh,
I
well,
swear.
No
I swear.
wonder when we washed our alpaca,
It's gross.
It was really dirty.
Yeah, you
so.
have to wash it, especially when it comes with Cheeto wrappers. Oopsie. But so it's really dirty. They use dirt and they bury it into their fiber, and they use it to protect themselves from insects, but also to help them keep cool.
All right.
I guess. It's gross. They love it. They play in it. They roll in it.
Yeah, well, this is actually a lot dirtier than what we have.
Oh
So
yeah,
we're
you've got the
lucky.
clean dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. So the first thing we do with the fiber is weigh it on a big scale, and then we separate it out into buckets. This right here, you guys have probably thought this is raw merino fiber. It's white and it's really kinky, and it's very, very fine. So this is raw merino, and one of the things we're doing with the raw merino is we pre-soak it. We pre-soak it to get some of the dirt and the lanolin. We're trying to capture some of the lanolin for my daughter, who wants to do some, merino lanolin projects. So we're working on that. So we have a little burner over here to burn off the steam, and we got some jars of dirty lanolin. We need to refine that process. Anyway, so come around the corner. This is more llama, and this felt came in, and it was this pelt came in, and it was very felted. So I actually had to pull this apart before I can do anything with it. This is the wash machine. It has a bunch of different settings on it. It's got all of these settings on it, and we use 3. We use the soak, the cycle 1, and then the rinse. So this, I can look at this and go, it's on cycle 1, and this has been soaked and washed 1 time. You can still see this is a llama again.
That is really long
But this
fiber.
is, yeah.
Is
So
that a lot longer than the alpaca fiber?
this one is, but llama have 2 hairs. Well, alpaca does too, but llama, they're more obvious.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. That's called a guard hair.
Okay, yeah. So this is the outer hair.
Yeah,
That's
but what
probably-
people want to use for knitting is this inner hair.
That's a lot softer.
Yeah, and it's wet, so,
Yeah.
but this still has guard hairs in it as well, you see? So this all has to come out. And we sit here day in and day out. No. No.
You don't do that by hand?
No, we don't do that by hand.
Oh,
Let's show you that later. Anyway, that's still being washed. This is my elf. My dad helps out in the mill. Now we'll be just done. He's the one that keeps this place afloat, by the way. So anyway, so it comes from the wash machine and we dry it on these racks. And you can tell this is the llama again because you see those very obvious guard hairs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So those will come out later in the process.
These are really coarse.
Yeah, you know, those are, it's not considered the fine fiber that a llama or an alpaca is.
Yeah.
So we got to get those out of it. So this is llama here as well. This has been washed and dried, and this is obviously still really held together. So this has been sheared off the animal. It's
Yeah.
still picking. So
Now,
we're just,
I'm noticing that there's still
vegetation.
yeah. So and that we don't expect to get all that out in the washing process.
Oh yeah, so
right?
when we're picking this, we would probably take this part here that you found, we'd rip it out. There's no machine on the planet that can get that out. So we
Yeah.
rip this part out
Okay.
and take it apart, and then this part here will be further ripped up. But the top layer, we'll throw it away in the
Yeah.
thing.
So you have a lot of waste then. When
We
you're doing
do. We
this.
do have a lot of waste because, llamas and alpacas generally they don't put coats on them unless it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
And so this stuff here, I'm going to show it on you. Oh, turn around. A llama has a really long neck. So when they eat, they throw their fiber, and so it catches right in here. So this is that neck shoulder area.
Oh, huh.
And sheep do that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the picker. There's my mittens. I don't know if anybody else sets things down and forgets them. Those are my mittens. Now this is a noisy machine, but what this does is it's got these big, you can't see it because of the dirt, because we've been running llama and it's got these big prongs inside on a drum that goes around here, and it takes this fiber and it opens it up.
Wait, do that again with your hands.
This machine it's called a picker. It opens the fiber up. It
Yeah.
adds air to it. So I'm just gonna start this machine, and just so you can hear the sound of it. So I'm gonna turn it off for the sound. That's a conveyor, not a lot of sound, but you can see the fiber moving forward. And then here's the drum. That's the drum that pulls it in and just rips it up. Oh, and then we have a fan too. So it goes into this room. It shoots it into this room, and we have a big fan here because it shoots it in with such pressure. We have to counter that pressure and pull the air out. Anyway, we're going to go around the corner. This is
So wait, this goes through the conveyor belt and it shoots into this big
shoots
box.
into this room. Yeah, I'm going to show you. You're going to have to come around here, sir. I keep this here. Before I purchased the mill, I went and visited the manufacturer who makes the mill, and they had me work in the mill that they had there, and I made this fiber. And this fiber is made out of merino. This was my test. And then I said, oh, anybody can do this. I can do this. I have yet. This is beautiful and it's soft, but they kind of set me up with a no-fail situation. So they had already had pre-washed merino, and you might have used roving or something like that comes from a factory.
Yeah.
So we were using that stuff that had already been treated, already been
Right.
chemically altered,
Yeah.
and I made beautiful yarn. So this is here is the example of
Yeah.
something a mini mill, an artesian mini mill probably will not produce
Okay.
unless you're using already processed roving or wash
Yeah.
stuff. So
Now, what they were sent home actually was it came from my niece's sheep,
oh yeah,
and so it went through a little mill like this,
right.
and we're still picking out
Oh
some birds
gosh,
and
yeah.
things like that.
That's the beauty of it. You
Yeah.
know that the artesian mills, they're not perfect.
Uh-huh.
This is not the commercial mill that you go to Fred Meyer or Kmart or
Yeah.
Walmart and get that beautiful yarn. Because that yarn is beautiful, but it's also made from petroleum and plastic products. It doesn't have a base of being an animal. It's been manufactured. This has a base of being an animal, and you can see those animals. And each animal is as different okay, so we're all humans, we're of the same species, but your hair is different than mine, right? So each animal will have that different variety. As you can know, there are hundreds of different kinds of sheep, but they're all the same species.
Right.
So each sheep that comes through the door is different. So every product, when it ends, is going to be different. So each one, it's like a veterinarian. We have to handle each box that comes through the door differently. Okay, back to the picker. All of that stuff got shot in the room. This has got pink in here.
I've noticed.
Okay.
It's full.
So it shoots, a box of that shoots into the room.
Oh.
Okay, so when this shot in yesterday, this was probably this high.
Oh, wow.
Because of all the air. But you can see that box turn this into, this is picked fiber. And again,
Oh.
there's vegetation in it. You
So-
see the
and-
dirt? And you can also see the long fibers.
So you did the dyeing before you
Oh
put
yeah,
it
we
in here.
do. I stopped that step. I passed that step because it's really not part of it. But we do dye. I like. There's a big vat over there, and you see the winch that goes up. We'll stop.
Okay.
We'll look at that when we do the finished yarn.
Okay.
So we did dye this first. My daughter does the dyeing. She loves it. I don't really like it. It's, you know, it's just too tedious for me. But everybody's got their own little job.
Sure, yeah.
So this lacked. Okay, so this, now we talked about the two different kinds of fiber. This is also llama, right? So this is called a de-hairing machine, okay?
Oh, okay.
So this is what goes in with all of that fiber.
yeah, I see all those
And you
guard
have to
hairs
put it
going
on here in really thin layers. That's gonna make noise. It's not too much noise. Oh, it's not gonna make noise.
It'll run, but
It's
plugged
jammed.
up right now.
I'm
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to clean it up.
Yeah.
You see all these long fibers? They can sometimes get caught in the wheels, and there's a lot of strength to fibers. So when you
Yeah.
get like 1,000 fibers together, they can't stop your
So
machine.
it's like when my long hair gets caught around my vacuum cleaner.
Absolutely, same thing. It'll jam it. So,
Good example.
so this is a conveyor belt, and this fiber, and it's moving, but it's jammed. I can hear it's jammed. It's jammed on the front roller because this thing would be moving there. So I'm going to turn it off. But the fiber goes through here. You're going to have to come this way. And you can see there's a lot of dirt still, right? Did I say this has been washed, right? This
my
fiber
gosh.
has been washed.
Yeah.
But the scales of these animals, because the fiber is in scales, it holds on to dirt. And every time we go through a step, there's more dirt and more dust. So it goes through two separate combing and weight. So what happens in the first bin is all of the heavy fibers get dropped out. You saw what goes in, but what comes out the end is this. So there's still some long hairs in there,
Oh,
but
yeah.
see, this has been combed.
Oh yeah, that's fluffy.
So this actually might end up getting another run through the dehairer.
Okay.
I'm not really sure because if I look at this, if this was Kiviate, it would probably go through 2 and 3 times
Oh wow.
because you don't want any of the medium hairs at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
But I see this kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
This is not something people typically want to have in their yarn. So we will probably end up this one going through again. And so this is one animal. So not every animal has to go through twice. Some of them, this is an older animal because this is actually a gray hair. I don't know if you have any gray hairs. So it goes through the dehairer. So we're going to back up here.
Now, the llama hair or not the llama, the alpaca that we got, it didn't seem to have any guard hairs in it.
It depends. If it was a young alpaca, if it was a baby, it's called a cria. Now, these animals are raised for their fiber. So the fur gets sheared off every year.
Yeah.
And so I wish I had a diagram. On a cria, people know what a saddle is.
Well, so
If you put a saddle on a horse.
yeah.
So a cria is a small alpaca, and that saddle area where you would put a saddle on a horse is called the blanket area that's of the finest fiber on the animal. But a cria, because of its youth, its hair is finer and so you can actually get up into the shoulders and along the bottom of it and still get that fine fibers, and it's called number 1. So then they have number 2 fiber. It's the second quality is on the legs and the hips and the neck. And then you have this long guard hair on the alpaca on the legs, which is really a pain. And my dad has been using that Anyway, so this is the carder. So we take the dehaired stuff of the alpaca and we send it through this carder. And this carder, we put it on here and we weigh it between these blue lines, and we put it on in certain weights. Now you can still see that there's vegetation in this. So if I was making yarn out of this, I wouldn't be making yarn. My dad is making rug rope. It's cord.
Wow.
So people use it for weaving to make floor rugs.
So
This is what he's making here.
okay.
And it goes into weaving looms and people make rugs out of them.
Okay, cool.
I'll show you those in the
It's
house.
normally thrown away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So typically we would throw it away or people would use it or felting. But this is a what do they call this? A byproduct of the what we do here. We save some of the stuff that people would throw away.
Yeah.
And we try to make a product out of it that we could sell.